to Chasing the Beats, a show dedicated to weeklybeats.com artists, their songs, and stories from the 2024 season. I'm your host, SQF. And our guest today is Horatiu Romantic. All right, welcome, Horatiu Romantic.
Hello, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, it's been looking forward to spending some time with you.
Can we just double check it's recording because it's flatlining on my
It looks like it's
UI.
recording on
Is
my
that
side.
good? Okay,
Yeah.
then we're good.
I think we're good. Yeah.
Great.
But always good to check.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you are obviously a very accomplished piano player.
Oh, obviously. Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't see it that way as obvious, but I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you.
Man, you
I do what I can.
are very talented. So to kind of just dive right in, was this your first Weekly Beats?
This is my second weekly beats. My first one was 2022, and that one I really did every week. And this last one, 2024, I kind of zoned out by the end of it because I started playing live a lot, and I considered that to be, you know, all right for my music
Yeah.
activity. So I didn't have to finish every week, but of course I try to keep it up until the end.
Yeah.
But it's a marvelous thing. I mean, I love doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a fair trade to, do some live performance instead of Weekly Beats productions.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. What got you into your first Weekly Beats in 2022?
It was a friend of mine who also joined Weekly Beats back then. He was called Atom Twist. Is also a user there, but well, we haven't kept in touch so much since then. But I mean, it put me on a great track. Basically, I was lucky enough to. He told me about it in the first week, and then I had this first weekend to start in 2022, right? So he said, yeah, you should make tracks there because I had been doing more and more recordings and trying to make tracks the year before, but it was not really so serious or so organized. And then I thought, yeah, why not? I can try. Worst thing can happen. I just stop or whatever. And I got so hooked because I learned so much from each week. I kind of set myself a goal. I got more and more into the community aspect, and really nice to kind of see what everybody's creating. And when somebody who's really good and you like what they make writes a nice comment, you're just so happy. So it's
Yeah.
really a good way to motivate, and not knowing how many people listen or whatever, but just seeing the comments was a great motivator also. Now I'm okay with knowing that I have few views on a YouTube or whatever. But back then I think I would have been very affected by not getting views and stuff. But because of
Yeah.
Weekly Beats, I also got over that and so many other things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because when you're just like cranking stuff out, a lot of the metrics don't really matter after a while because you kind of
Yeah.
realize you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah, but I mean, you do it also for other people, right? I think
Yeah.
I tell myself that I'm doing it for myself just as much as I say I do it for people. I want to share my
Yeah.
my thoughts, my emotions through the music, and who am I sharing it to? Everybody else.
Yeah.
Also for
Yeah.
myself. I love listening to my own stuff as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But
Uh,
if we didn't care about other people listening to it, we would never release anything.
yeah, exactly. So you want people to hear it, but you want the right people to hear it also. It's okay if some people don't like it. Not everybody can like it, and that's something you have to also get over with some place in the process. Maybe it never really goes away that you always want everybody to like your stuff, right? But
Yeah, of
yeah,
course. It's nice to have that social validation.
yeah, I mean, think about one person really liking a track, nobody else, but just one person, still a nice thing though, still
Oh,
feels
yeah.
good. That's what matters.
Even if you get that one comment with somebody that like really digs what you create, it
Yeah, yeah.
it feels good.
You connect in a different way. I mean, in a nice human way. I don't know, emotional.
And I think that's what's good about the Weekly Beats community is like we have this whole pool of people willing to hear your stuff.
Yeah, yeah, true. A bit of a tit for tat in a way. Like people listen and share
Yeah.
also in hopes to get some listens themselves, which I think is fair enough. But I really enjoy listening to other stuff uh, when people write. I'm very curious to know who are they, why do you like it, what is it about you, what's going on here. I
Yeah.
want to
I
connect both
mean,
ways, and that's so nice about.
that's kind of why I started the show because
Yes, exactly.
I I wanted to know the same thing of like there's just so many different styles and just different creative endeavors. It's cool to dig into what makes people unique. Like not everyone is trying to copy each other. Like especially when you're doing weekly beats, it's like you got to really do your own thing.
That's true. That's true, and it's nice to you learn so much from other people's stuff, but not like yeah, it's so much opportunity. It's also so much potential. You can
Yeah.
hear, and I love the podcast too. I only listened to one half episode, something like that. I wrote you, but I love the potential that it's there, and then I can see this guy's gonna be
Yeah.
cool. I love that person's music or whatever. So I
Yeah.
keep an eye on it also passively a little bit, and I think it's gonna be cool next year to go back to some episodes. Sometimes
For
you
sure.
recognize some names. So I love this thing as well, that it's an archive on Weekly Beats, and you can look
Yeah,
back on your
that's
stuff and other people's stuff. What have you made? And even if not one song is really the banger of bangers, you have a body of work now that you can look back and say, "What's the direction?
yeah.
What are you doing with it?"
Yeah.
That's really interesting from an artistic creation thing to make a body of work. I think a lot about that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And I I didn't really think about it like that. Like that really 2024 is like a whole body of work that like you said is an archive.
Yeah, I mean, each song can be a standalone too, and it has kind of a depth in it. But just like with an album, that you have a bunch of songs in an album, but they also have a kind of a higher meaning altogether in a way, a context. And
Yeah.
then all of your music has a overarching storyline and thing, and then you can also look at all of Weekly Beats and everybody's creating there. It sets a nice kind of movement, this kind of direction, and
Yeah.
that's a cultural movement. I mean, we're part of something very special in this Weekly Beats.
I agree. I agree. Uh,
Like a cult, it sounds very, but no,
yes,
really,
yes.
really, it is. Yeah,
The best kind of cult.
yes, it's about something
So,
real.
what did you take away from 2022 that wouldn't have maybe learned by not doing it?
Oh, many things for sure. One thing was uh, was important from 2022. I set up my sound setup. Like I have now some nice speakers that I work with, and I got used to kind of the flow. And during 2022, I had a lot of weird experiments with making music on the M8, actually, on a weird hacky one
Ooh,
with a little microchip. I know a lot of
yeah. The
Wiki Beats
headless.
people have the M8. Yeah, exactly, the headless, this little device. Now I actually have a physical one too, but I haven't really used it much. It's a potential, it's living there as a potential. But I've solidified some workflows and learned a lot about how to do things fast. So definitely that I took into the next thing. And I guess another major thing, obviously, finishing songs. What the hell? You gotta finish. You gotta make decisions. And after 2022, I had 52 songs. Some were really, you could call them songs if you want, but but some good stuff too. And afterwards, 2023, I thought, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it, but less involved now. Yeah, but I didn't really do anything for half a year because there was not really any peer pressure. My own
Yeah.
forced thing didn't really kick in. I wanted to put out something, so I put out the first album 2023 with stuff from Weekly Beats. So I'm very happy with that. But it was a weird sensation to not have to do it, and then I thought I'm gonna do it, make more stuff. I still been playing, but yeah, it didn't
Yeah,
happen.
I
So I
mean,
was very glad 2024 came back, started again with in force.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of in that liminal space right now of
Oh
like
yeah.
we're like pretty much halfway through the year,
Mm-hmm.
and like I haven't really put out anything. I mean, other than
Yeah.
podcasts, but I don't think that really counts. But it's just weird how that weekly deadline really motivates you to, like you said, make those decisions and stick with the decisions and just like crank it out.
Yeah, but it's the community. I think it's not so much the deadline as the community, because I have also set myself deadlines when it was not connected to other people being part of it or whatever, and you can just move them. It's too
Exactly.
easy. So it's not the deadline that makes it, it's the community, it's the having someone who is gonna listen potentially, or that you want to share it with. And that can also work maybe outside of it, right? But if you think of it, like, who are you making it for?
Yeah.
So at
It's
least for
a
me, it worked to do live shows. Then I still made songs, I still prepared stuff, and I had a good time, because then the people are there to receive it.
Yeah, speaking of live shows, did you really do many live shows before 2022?
No, not really. I think 2022. Well, I started recording myself a little bit more and stuff from 2019 already, but like a track every few months, not really any or not organized, just doing when I had an inspiration or whatever. But I didn't really understand the idea of sound and a nice complete track before almost close to 2022. Until then, I was playing piano. I thought I just need to play really good, and then that's what I have to do. So I'll try to learn jazz standards and to get chops, and learn how to
Yeah.
play really good. Try to get a good piano sound on my digital piano. I never had
Yeah.
an acoustic one except back in Romania when I was a kid. But yeah, so finding a clean sound that I kind of liked, that I could work with, and then just playing piano. But when Weekly Beats came, I guess that's also a very big lesson that I learned already 2022 and leaned further into in 2024, was crafting a sound and thinking about what you hear. And it's not about how many notes or what are you doing there, but it's about what you hear, what comes out, how does it make you feel? If it's a piano sound, is it mellow? Is it groovy? Does it titillate? Does it
Yeah.
make you, like, does it spark curiosity and excitement or something? And in the composition as well, and with the chords and everything that I do now, I think about that. And getting good speakers. I mean, you
Yeah.
listen to your classic things that you've known all your life, but you hear them for the first time. Listen to some Pink Floyd, listen to
Oh yeah.
Beatles, listen to anything you want that's well recorded from back in the day, and it just, you understand. Wow, you don't need
Yeah.
too much, but you need it to be just so. That's
Yeah.
that's
Uh
yeah.
so you
It's
kind of saw past the just like technical execution of piano playing and realized that like there's more to just playing the piano. It's about like the feeling that you impart while playing it. It's like how it makes you feel listening to it. You kind of learned all of that through 2022.
Yeah, and I think yeah, it's many things, but it does boil down in the end, like you said, or like I said, with to the emotion and to what you feel when you hear it. And for example, I was listening all my life to various jazz stuff, and sometimes a jazz recording, from 20s, 1920, is gonna sound like ass. It's so bad. It's like and there's like a
Yeah.
piano there, but the piano sounds he's really good at playing, so you kind of live through the bad sound and listen, yeah, it's cool, or just it's oversaturated, something. But then I realized when I was making tracks and listening, trying to craft a sound, first thing I thought, just kind of self-taught, I thought it has to be clean, I have to record it, sounds like in real life, sounds clean, like you're there. Actually, no, that's not so important. It's one style, but you can totally go different directions. And all my favorite recordings from whatever the '70s, they have a sound. It's not like you're there in the room. It's like, I don't know how exactly to describe it, but it's all about nice compression to bring up the level to make the
Yeah.
meat. All the on the bass, it has to really be
Yeah.
kind of
Like, I
bouncy and
mean,
feel good and groovy, and the
Dark
piano
Side
just
of the
starts
Moon
really, yeah.
is like, that is an amazing album to listen to on headphones. Like,
Yeah,
it's
true,
easy
true.
to get uh just like worn out with the songs because at least here in the States, they're on the radio like
Oh, right,
so
right, yeah.
much.
Oh, I mean, they're also on the radio, but where do you listen to the radio? You listen either on the crappy radio or in the
Yeah,
car with the boomy, with the you're driving. It's not
exactly.
the right thing. So,
No,
as you say,
but
headphones
yeah, listening
or
to them on
monitors.
headphones is like a completely different experience, and it's kind of like what Neon Liminal said. It's like the headphones in the dark listening is like a whole different experience.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, and I really want to eventually create this kind of thing as well
Yeah.
in my
I
playings.
mean, I when I was listening to your stuff, your mixes are outstanding.
Oh wow, thank you very much. That's all me.
So I wanted to
Self-taught.
ask you, like, what is your production process? How did you learn this? Because like the song that we're gonna listen to later, you attract what you put out in the world. It's like I'm in the room with you. I don't know. It just sounds so good.
Nice, thanks. Yeah, that one I feel kicked off a nice thing in the year. But yeah, so well, I'm also going to talk a little bit about 2022 because that's where it really started.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know if you had the chance or the time to listen to some of the old stuff from there.
I
It's
didn't
pretty whack. It's
actually.
pretty whack. Don't bother. But no, but mixing wise and everything, I made some questionable choices for sure. But it's all part of the process.
That's how you find your way, you know?
I started because I didn't really have so much gear. I always had a audio interface because I figure out you need that to plug
Mhm.
in, to play whatever. I started on the Windows machine actually. I had the USB with the ASIO drivers. It's a really jank
Yeah.
technology with latency, and you click a note and then you hear it later. It's bizarre, and you can't work like that. But I had the low budget, so I worked with
Yeah.
what I had. But now I have a Mac, so it solves everything.
Nice.
It's much better. Unfortunately, because the company also questionable, but they do
Yeah,
good
yeah.
products. What the hell? So I tried different approaches. I also got myself an iPad first before I got the Mac and so on, because I noticed my friend also told me, Atom Twist, we were geeking about all kind of synths and apps and stuff, and I use it to perform as well quite a lot these days. I use the modular, the modular synth. I have a MyRack. It's like a Eurorack clone, or a VCV rack is the freeware
Okay.
for
Got
computers,
it, got it.
but MyRack on iPad. And then you can do so many things, and you learn so much from these apps. So anyway, I got that. So I've done quite a few tracks just on the iPad, nothing else
Oh, no
than
way.
microphones and recording stuff there, kind of like 4-track back in the day. I've never lived that time, but I just
Yeah.
learned about it. But kind of low tech, because I guess I'm very much into performing, as you could probably tell from my music, and so I don't like sitting around and automating things. I like to do it live if possible. But of course, you can do a lot in the studio, so I do mix.
Yeah.
I done iPad stuff. I've done a little bit of weird setups, but then eventually I kind of zoned into. I used FL Studio quite a bit, but then I kind of started using Logic, and now I'm very much a Logic guy.
And what
And
other do you use any outboard gear, or are you all in
so
Logic?
outboard gear, I have my MIDI controller. That's my piano keys, heavy keys, and with that I control different instruments. I've been looking for pianos for such a long time, and I've used all kinds of piano tech and all kinds of whatever. I was never super satisfied, but then eventually I found the UAD plugins,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
they should pay me because I've been yeah, telling everybody about it. It's very nice. They
Not
have
sponsored.
they have great piano. They have a great electric piano. My God, it's so good. I play the real Rhodes, and it's actually not as good. Uh, it just doesn't feel so nice when you like when you kind of
Yeah.
bite into it. So and then analog replicas of plugins. I'm all about 70s sound. That's the
Yeah.
golden age. So that fits me very well. So that's kind of my setup now, and I try to put it in the description of stuff that I put out. Just now and then. I'm not very good at it. Sometimes I forget, but
And then
that
for
goes.
your mixing, what did you kind of learn in the mixing process?
Yeah, mixing process. I learned to leave space, but I actually also learned it compositionally, and I think it all kind of went in parallel for me because I've been playing piano for so long without really thinking about the sound. I had the opportunity to 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 adapt my playing also. And an interesting thing, for example, I've been playing many years with the guitarist because I'm always looking for a drummer and a bass player. Now I have a drummer that's more regular, but I still don't have a bass player. It's been 20 years. What the hell? Maybe in another 20 years I find a bass player. But the idea is with the piano and the guitar, they kind of clash. So they're in the same audio spectrum, the same pitch, timbre and
Same
stuff,
sonic space.
same sonic space. That's right. And you learn how to make room for each other because otherwise it just sounds bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the lessons I also applied in mixing because I realized you have to leave space for everything to be heard when it needs to and to fall in the background when it doesn't need to. And I guess geeking with various people, we talked about mixes and stuff with a friend a lot. You want to put bass in the middle, and I learned a trick early on to hard pan guitars.
Oh
You
yeah, yeah.
record the same thing twice, just hard pan it. Mistakes, whatever, it's just gonna sound good.
That sounds so good.
Strange how it works, but it works. So
Yeah.
easy trick. So small tricks after each other, I figured out. And yeah, I learned that it really starts from the performance. If you have good material to work with, it's quite easy to mix. If you have a janky recording, if it's a noisy or something, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it. You just live with it or find a way to turn it into a new thing, perhaps. So,
Mm-hmm.
but being very aware of every little sound, I think, is valuable. I've been also playing experimental jazz, so noise, weird stuff. And there, it's all about listening to everything. You listen to the room you're in. You listen to, I mean, if you start playing your performance or whatever, be listening. And if there's a sound in the room, there's the fridge of the bar, that you're
Yeah.
playing in, whether you like it or not, that's part of your show. So what are you gonna do
Mm-hmm.
about it? You have to incorporate it somehow. Otherwise, it's like dissonance. And I've been to concerts where people don't really listen for that stuff, and it just feels like they don't really know they're not aware of the room. They don't know what they're doing. They're like programmed to play what they know, but
Yeah.
it's like the Sims. They're gonna do the animation, but the world is burning around them, and they're like whatever. But then I've been to concerts where people are hyper aware of each other and their surroundings and the room and the audience and every little noise and their own performance, and they're it really feels like they're one with their instrument, or if there's with the voice, of course, it's even more in the body.
Yeah.
And then you have a magical experience because everything is the performance.
Wow.
And
Yeah. I mean,
if you
that's a
can impart
really,
that into your mixes,
yeah, that's
yeah,
a really
I absolutely.
cool way of like assessing the situation of performers, like how in tune are they with the room, each other, or like you said, are they just executing technically? Like
Hmm.
you said earlier, like you learned that just executing technically on the piano doesn't make for a great performance.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's really good, it's still good, right? But
But
maybe
not
you
that
don't
like
feel
extra
anything.
sparkle.
Yeah, it's like I've heard piano players who are extremely technically good, but I felt nothing, and I was wondering why is that? What's that about? And very strangely, I've been to experimental concerts, and there I always thought it's such a fine edge between it's trash or it's genius.
Yeah, music versus
Just
noise.
it's so strange, and it's all about, I think it's the intention and the and somehow guiding the listener, being part of the journey. It's like you can sense it. It's not about the sound, it's about something beyond. But I mean, it is
Yeah.
also the sound, because if you record it and listen, it's still there,
But
but it's not quite the same, but still, yeah.
it's like the human aspect of it. It's the difference between listening to a recording and going to a live show and watching people play something that maybe isn't exactly perfect, but it's got feeling.
Yes, yeah. So, well, now that you say it, this is another huge thing I learned, is to not bother so much about perfection, and
Yeah.
just live, go with it. Just what's a mistake? Just do it. Just,
Yeah.
does it have feeling? Go for it.
I was thinking about this recently in now that we're in the age of AI and that
Mm.
now there's just so much perfection out there
Mm-hmm.
that I'm wondering if imperfection is kind of going to be more celebrated because it means it's not made solely by a computer.
Maybe AI bros will love to hear that, but I think AI music is so trash. It's so imperfect. Also, it's not
Yeah.
perfect at all. What's perfect about this crappy sound? This compressed MP3 quality thing that
Like,
they generate.
well,
Because they
it's
don't know the
imperfect.
difference between a quality recording and like how do you call it? Uh,
Well,
like
it's like a different
you
kind of
burn a meme.
imperfection.
But anyway,
It's
it's
like,
a
yeah, imperfection from computers versus like
yeah,
imperfection from humans. And I think we can all pick up on that.
it's something about the feeling, yeah, because there is no feeling with the AI generated stuff, and if there is, it's somehow it's only a curatorial process. So you can
Yeah.
listen for what you generated, and if it's something you vibe with, you can work with it. But I mean, I think that it's so interesting what you can do with it. But people are still in the early days, and they just want everything to be generated with one button. Whereas I
Yeah.
would like to generate a bass line and then work with that, and then generate some drums, and so be able to generate things like that. By the way, the first song I ever made on Weekly Beats, it is AI partially.
Oh,
It has part of
interesting.
it because I used it to inspire the lyrics, and
Yeah. Yeah.
there was no Chat GPT at the time, or maybe there was there, maybe there
I
was,
don't
but
think
what
so.
was AI Dungeon. If you know
Oh,
about AI Dungeon, it's kind of like a generative language model thing that you play kind of D&D stuff.
okay.
It's really funny, and you can use it as a conversational agent and stuff. So I used it to like, hey, what should this song be about, and blah blah, and back and forth.
Okay.
So it's kind of funny, but yeah.
So after 2022, you learned you had learned all this like production techniques and just like song composition. What made you kind of dive into live performance stuff?
Well, when I launched my first album, 2023, I wanted it to be a nice kind of celebration thing. So I booked a place, I did a concert, I invited some friends to, first I thought I'm going to invite one or two, to help me along or whatever. But everybody I invited said yes. So in the end, we had a 6 people band. So we played all my songs and it was nice. And then of course it was a high, so I wanted it again. I was pretty hooked. But then in 2023 didn't really play much. I still also had a job, and so I was working and doing also some freelance and this and that. But in 2024 um, I started with the intention to, as opposed to 22, um, lean into some sounds, do a little bit more with the same setup, to kind of see how far I can take it in the depth of it, So in the first track already, I kind of discovered Levi the drummer from Logic is like one of the automatic drummers. I guess you can call him AI, whatever he is, a tool. He's a bit of a
Yeah.
tool, Benny is the biggest tool, but I started playing with that sound, and just as a way to do drums. I've always had a hard time doing beats and drums and stuff.
Yeah.
So I wanted to learn about that and to do funky stuff. So I discovered this Moog kind of mono bass, also
Yeah.
very 70s vibe, and the electric piano, and also acoustic. So that was kind of my first setup that I wanted to delve into, and I kept that up for quite a few songs, of course, with other stuff in between.
Mm-hmm.
And what we were talking about, the live stuff,
Yeah.
I realized when I was doing it, like, I don't think I can perform live with Levi the drummer. That's weird. That's not, because you don't have a feeling. It's not two directional. I'm
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
reacting to him. He's not reacting at all to me.
True.
So yeah, it would be nice. I tried to program a weird AI drummer. He's only able to do avant-garde right now, but it's pretty cool. Mm,
Yeah. He has trouble thinking outside the box.
well, yeah, or to keep himself contained in one place. He's just all over the place. But
Uh,
anyway, later on in the year, I kind of also morphed into more songwriting and a little bit more elaborate lyrics wise and composition. Writing on the guitar is usually more prone to that for me because I'm not so technically advanced on guitar. I cannot solo and do all kind of fancy stuff. So then I have to learn my parts, and then I have to be very deliberate. And by doing that, I also rediscovered, songwriting or maybe learned for real. And then those kind of things I could also perform, which was super nice. So then I started doing some live shows. Then I got fired in the summer. So I thought, you know what? Instead of going back into corporate and hustling and so on, maybe I can give this music stuff a real crack. So
yeah.
I said, I'm gonna do concerts. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. Well, for better or worse, I'm still doing it, but I need a job, man. I get it. Yeah, I need a job.
That is the
I'm still
unfortunate
gonna do it.
part about music.
Let's not dig into that too much, but I need a job. But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Give
but
Horatio a job.
yes,
Whatever. He'll do whatever.
I do music. Uh, the but live shows are great. I mean, uh, playing your songs that you think are cool to a live audience, you will learn if they really are cool. You know what I mean? Like,
True.
you get
True.
you get it on people's faces. It's one thing to get feedback in writing
Yeah.
and over the internet, but when you can feel, people come to you after the show, that's nice. That's not what you
Like,
want. you
okay.
you
Yeah.
want it, you want them to really feel it. You can
Yeah.
see it on their faces, so that's a really good thing. So now what I'm recording the next album with the songs that I've only done demos from halfway through 24. I haven't really spent so much time producing them and making them nice, just because I was playing them live, and I realized, wow, it's really important to play them live and keep working on them a little bit after you play them a couple of times, because then you can really see what they need, or if they're there.
Yeah.
So now with that information, I've definitely like zoned in on some of those songs, and now I think I can do a better job. But we'll see, because I still I keep saying I'm gonna do it, and again, it's not a weekly beats year. So you just
Yeah.
don't do it so well as when you
No
have peer
deadlines.
pressure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. But yeah,
So right now you're kind of taking some of your live performances and tweaking them based on reactions that you've received?
yeah, because I've been going to open mics a lot. I think those are the bulk of it, where you just play two songs a night and
Mhm.
you hear a lot of other people, and you can also see how when other people perform and they get the audience to go. There's a few things that work better than others, and I mean it's something about the confidence and stage presence and stuff, but it's also about rhythm. Just have good rhythm, no matter what kind of fancy chords. You gotta have rhythm, even if it's a slow ballad. It's gotta be there. There has to be the right pulse there, a very intentional pulse. If it's
Yeah.
arrhythmical, it has to be very intentional, and then it works. If you're just playing it, but then you're actually kind of missing it all the time, that falls a bit flat. People can still see through it and kind of understand. Then maybe they really get touched by it. But at the end of the day, if you listen back, it's like, what the hell is this? So because it's lacking that live energy, it falls flat. But if it's good rhythm, then it survives the recording too. So I
Yeah.
think the next recording, for sure, I will be very careful the rhythm and be very intentional about it. And I guess with the drum machine, it comes in uh, by default in a way. But
Yeah.
of course, it's lacking that human groove, so it's very important to find a way to do that. That's what I've never achieved with drum machines, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Mm.
there is a way to sort of play around the drum machine and still give that feeling.
I think so, and many weekly beats people are really good at it.
Yeah.
But I also hear only the end result most of the time, and I feel like when you hear a little bit the process too, or when you've been through also the early stages, maybe you're kind of your perception is tainted of those
Mhm.
things, and you you maybe don't hear it as you would as a listener.
Yeah,
Because if I go
it's
back to recording I've made for a long time and I haven't listened to it for a while and I listen, yeah, that's really cool, but I remember very well that I didn't like it. you know
yeah, it's crazy just that perception of, like you were talking about, the evolution of making a song and how it kind of colors the end result that, you know, a new listener doesn't have all that background and color because yeah, you listen to it and you kind of, even if you want to change something, you've heard it for so long that way. When you change it, maybe for the better for a listener, you're like, I kind of like the old way, but is that because I heard it for so many loops, or is it like truly better?
True, and it's hard to tell, and best advice is make a decision, move on. Make two versions, whatever,
Yeah,
just do something.
yeah. Don't stress about it.
I've been in the limbo many times. Maybe
Yeah.
now I am actually with some of these songs that I've been playing for so long. I mean, speaking of whatever you said in the order, video games. I've been playing that one since, and I actually checked when I shared some of my selection, for the episode. That one is from June or whatever. It's almost exactly 1 year since I made it,
Yeah.
and so I guess I've been playing it for a year, and I'm setting myself up for too much pressure with it. I'm like, it has to be so good now because I've been playing it for a year. But that's not a good attitude because I kept not playing it, not recording it somehow. I don't know.
Oh
It's
man.
you got to do stuff, man. That's the
Yeah.
good lesson from Weekly Beats. Just do stuff.
What is your songwriting process like? Because one thing that I notice about your lyrics is like you've got full on stories going on, and you've got some spoken words, some that are sung, but they're very thoughtful and personal lyrics. Definitely not Chat GPT.
Yeah, yeah.
So like what is that process like? And I'm asking from the perspective of like I would like to one day try some vocals, but right now I'm kind of stuck on the like, how do I write lyrics?
Ah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you have a good voice actually. At least podcast voice is very nice, so
Well,
you can
I'm
definitely
primed
pull it
for
off.
spoken word songs, aren't I?
Yeah, yeah, I think you can do it. Well, basically, again, it's about listening and stuff. So some of it is also how it sounds, but yeah, with the lyrics, it's all about, of course, what you're trying to say. And I try to be honest with it. And so I guess what I wrote lately is, of course, much more refined, you could say, because I kind of know myself a bit better, how I write and stuff. I'm trying to think also in terms of the process, because even if I tell you how I do it now, I don't know if that really
Yeah, I
makes
mean
sense for anybody. Because
it's an
what
evolution, just like songwriting, you know.
Yeah, I wrote poetry and kind of little things also back in high school and stuff all the time. So I like language and like to find little ways to say stuff. And I learn about perfection is when you can no longer take anything out, not when you
Mm.
cannot put anything more on.
That is a really good
You know what I mean?
rule. That is a really
So
good rule.
keep it simple. That's when you get closer to perfection. But perfection is trash anyway. Don't do perfection. But you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It gets
yeah.
better when it's and then I also try to write about it, about the process. There's three aspects that are so important to me: it's universality, specificity, and layers, having many layers. So universality, that's, everybody can get it. Specificity is when one person really gets it very deeply. So if you can achieve both of those things, basically you're like
At the same
God.
time.
This impossible, I think, to please everybody and also very deeply, but they're worthwhile pursuits. But the layers thing is more actionable in a way, because I think about it as if I can create more meanings through expressing a thing. And it can also be a specific story, but if you can relate to it on a human level, you can also kind of extract a little bit from it and filter it to your own experience. So if I'm talking about video games, for example, uh, and that's my experience, but it's actually about something else. Maybe it's about escapism,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Then whoever listens, they will apply whatever they understand is escapism, or
Yeah, cuz
they
like
get something out of it. But
I'm not a gamer,
yeah,
but
yeah.
listening to that song and absorbing the lyrics, it is very much escapism of like whatever, if you're just listening to music in your room, like that is a really cool way to approach lyric writing and I guess poetry of like mass appeal, hard hitting specificity as far as just like really getting what you're saying and the layers.
Yeah. So if if that helps anybody, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And so for sure, it's about writing honestly, writing about things that I really care about. And so if I don't really know what to write about, I've also tried doing some random things, very Dada, inspired. Take some words, do something with that, or make
That's
write
cool.
in your room, see something, or what if you have when you improvise. Also, it's great. You have to say something. You have to do something. I mean, you don't have to do anything ever, really. You know what I mean? But
True.
if you want to perform, you want to say something, then you have to blur it out. Whatever comes out, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And doing that enough times, you start digging deeper and deeper. I learned that actually from comedy. I don't do comedy, but I guess I'm a little bit funny guy. But I have listened to a lot of comedians, and also to them talking about comedy. And one of the things, I don't know if who it was who said it. One of these guys, Norm Macdonald or whatever,
Yeah.
somebody, that you want to scrap your material and start over to go deeper. No, maybe it was Louis C.K. who said it, because he always scrapped his material, and then for a year he wrote only new stuff, and then he did a great show. Everybody loved it, but then he never repeated it, so that intentionally he could go deeper into his next
Yeah.
material. And I thought that was a cool way to create, in any genre or subject or whatever. So I try to apply that too, try not to repeat myself and
That's a
do,
tough
do
one.
many other things. And I think it's possible. And I also gave some talks in game development. I'm actually a game developer by in my
Nice.
background. And it's another thing, about jamming. The more you exercise your creativity, the more creativity you will have. It's like a muscle,
Mm.
not like a sack of
Yeah.
potatoes. I use that expression a lot. But it's very apt. It doesn't run out. Maybe it runs out in your energy today, but tomorrow
Yeah.
you're gonna have more of it.
No, it is a muscle. And definitely about this time last year, it felt so much like a muscle that was like, oh, I can do this every week. And
Yeah.
like, I've proven it and I feel like I'm getting better. So that's what's kind of exciting to me about next year is like getting back into that, social accountability where
Hmm.
we're all, you know, actually doing things and are motivated to do things.
Hmm.
And it's interesting when you were talking about your live performance stuff, I was thinking about comedians
Hmm.
because comedians so much talk about trying new material and looking at the audience to see how it lands. And they're constantly experimenting in, every show. They're experimenting with some new joke or new direction that I had never really thought about in a live performance aspect, like musically. But I mean, that's kind of what like live music improv is.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's actually kind of funny. So it's the same process, but sometimes
True.
it's about something else, and it's emotional and whatever, and then it gets very hard to detect. Does it come across, in comedy? One another thing that I noticed people theorize about. I mean, if people are laughing, that's kind of an involuntary reaction. Is You cannot
Yeah.
really force yourself to belly laugh. You can do like a ha ha, 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 but
Yeah.
that's not a real laugh. It's like when you can't help yourself. That's when it's really
Yeah.
kicking in. And with what's that equivalent in music? Well, I guess kind of moving, grooving. You can't help yourself then to groove sometimes. So if that happens, you hit something there, or whatever you're feeling. If you can get in tune with your body and your feelings and kind of listen in that way, active listening or whatever,
Yeah.
very careful, you can notice when it hits right and when it doesn't, and maybe what you have to play with to get closer to what you need.
And for the audience, that's kind of escapism. Like you are creating this environment where they can almost forget that they're at a concert and they're so absorbed by what you are making on stage that that's their reaction, which
Yeah.
is harder to tell and a lot of times than a belly laugh.
Yeah, it's very hard. And but another thing that works is if they cry. I was very
Yes,
proud when I
yes.
made people cry with my songs. It doesn't always happen, but sometimes.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
that's a good feeling because it's emotional. It means you reach them. So
Well, to transition to escapism, let's start out with video games.
all right.
All right, here we go.
I just wanna play my video games, shut my door and turn off my lights, and fight for my life. Do what what's right and be the hero. I just wanna know, which team am I? Where are the demons I have to fight and come back to life whenever I die and be the hero? But in the morning I wake up to the same old world tomorrow. I put on my face and I go out, still playing the hero. But life is no video game and I'm just a guy. I don't wanna fight a bunch of demons.
All right, that was video games. And kind of what you talked about a little earlier is like the quality of recording doesn't always matter. Like, this is not a polished studio version. This is literally you recording a song in the park, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's so perfect. Like, the birds in the background. I don't know. I feel like I'm at the park sitting in the grass with you. And there's just something so magical about it that if you took this and tried to polish it, it might lose some of the feeling to it.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I mean, I will find out because I do want to record it and put on an album now, which kind of was a very tricky thing how to approach it. I still haven't figured out. One thing I
Yeah.
have done is put it on a piano, and it also works really nicely. I love the way that when I compose on the guitar and then move it to the piano, it's a very interesting way to play that you don't normally.
Mm-hmm.
You compose straight on the piano is not gonna be the same. But getting back to the sound of it, yeah, I thought about wait, what are you gonna keep the part and repeat? That basically, I think about the final piece even when it's like a live thing. When I put on weekly beats, it has to be a nice listenable thing
Yeah.
for the final listener. And with that one, I think it fits. And with songwriting, with good like nice songs that have a nice little melody, they have a nice little structure, it's possible to do it so lo-fi and still get so much emotion and so much
Yeah.
that really matters from music to
Like you
come
said,
across.
you can take away all these things and you're left with a great song, great melody, a great message,
Yeah,
something for everyone.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I mean the lyrics are, back to what you were talking about with some of your intentions. It's like I can definitely relate to the lyrics and the message and kind of that like escapism vibe that you set. So I'm
Yeah,
really
yeah.
impressed with
Thank
your
you very much.
lyric writing.
Yeah, very, very down to earth somehow. I try to just tell my my immediate story, my feeling. It's fairly real, you know. I was literally playing Diablo 2 at the time, and that was kind of my vibe. And it's this game where you fight demons and stuff. And I thought it was kind of funny how, I mean, I felt a little bit bad for playing too much sometimes, but then I also felt like playing because I needed it just in my life at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
And then I thought, that's a good experience to write a song about and probably relatable.
For
So
sure.
yeah, I don't know. I like the. I mean, I actually made the. I started making some videos about these songs in my YouTube series. If it's okay, I plug it. It's how to
Oh
make an
yeah,
album.
yeah. I didn't
Where
even
I,
know you had a YouTube.
oh yeah, I have. I'm active there now that I don't have weekly beats. So I
Okay,
put up there a
cool.
lot.
I'm gonna have to
And
check that out.
yeah, please do. And what I do there, I try to talk a little bit about behind the scenes of the songs as well as
Sweet.
share the songs, because I mean that's a rare thing that you don't get from normal music listening, but you do get in weekly beats, and it's so nice to hear what people thought about when they wrote, or
Yeah.
their reaction, and also the listeners' reaction to some degree with the comments and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought maybe I can bring that back into
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
expand it from weekly beats. And so I'm doing this project for now. I don't know if I'm gonna do it for everything I make, but
Yeah.
and specifically for weekly beats, for video game song, I did one. And yeah, there's some nice parts in it also compositionally that I kind of stumbled across, the moving bass line that's going down but the melody's going up, and then they come the
Yeah, yeah.
reverse. So those little things I'm quite happy with, and they're fairly simple, right? Simple chords. When you can do very fancy jazz stuff, that feels a little bit like, what are you doing? Throw in some 13 flat, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
But no, sometimes you just need a simple chord to tell
Yeah.
your story. So
True.
yeah,
Don't overcomplicate it.
yeah, don't overthink it. Don't, just feel it. Does it feel good? Then you don't have to be too jazzy.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna keep it going with Levi's latch is no match for Benny's snatch.
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go. All right, that was Levi's Latch is no match for Benny's Snatch.
Sick.
Tell me about this one.
Well, Levi, as they say in Hungary, or Levi, is the drummer, of course, from Logic.
Right.
But
Yeah.
actually, on this track, I believe is Benny who's playing, and the latch is I'm gonna dispel it, But the latch is, when you record in a DAW and you're changing some parameters or whatever, and it doesn't save it, and
Yeah.
then you're like, damn it, and you have to go do it again, and then you have to turn on the latch. You latch it. So Levy's latch was not on when I recorded something there, and I was like, shit. So that's Levy's latch. But I mean, Benny is the other drummer, and snatch rhymes with latch. So there you have it.
Yeah, perfect.
But I mean, that thing in the album fits with the whole concept because we have Levy's Prayer as another track. It starts off the album. And then you have Levy's Latch is no match. And then you have Levy's Penis Reduction Surgery. That's another track that is a very long track that ends with a big climax. Well, you'll
long
listen
track with
someday.
a short end, if you know what I mean.
But I mean, yeah, it's the really cool part is quite short. The long part is more like the piano stuff. Anyway, it's kind of painting a weird picture of the Levy stuff, and those are the tracks without lyrics. So that's kind of nice. Also, that you have to make up the story as you listen, and it's very strange. I don't know. I think that's a kind of a little artistic trick to create a story from the snippets you let out, but it's not very clear, and then everything happens in the mind of the listener. It can be a symptom of you don't actually know what you're saying, but it can also be used in a nice way. I'm gonna let you decide which one I'm doing.
It's art,
but it's art. Yeah. So
yeah,
but
no, it's a really cool like dub sounding track, like experimental.
Thanks, man, I gotta tell you, I'm reinventing this track now because I'm playing it with my drummer and my guitarist, and I'm doing the bass line and also playing.
Right.
So I'm really stepping it up, doing live playing on
with bass and piano.
Boom, boom. So I'm doing it on a Hammond clone. I mean, I just have a Nord Electro, so it's a one keyboard, but playing the sound of a Hammond. And the melody in this one, the recognizable part, which I guess is I even made some lyrics to be able to explain it to the guys, but I don't think we're gonna do lyrics, It's like, remember this fact, nobody's perfect, everyone thinks they're right, and so on and so forth. That part I only play once in the track, and I didn't even think about it's kind of the theme. But later on, when I wanted to perform it live, when I put the album together, I wanted to release it with a band. I said, how are we gonna play this stuff from the album? Because a lot of it is just kind of improvisations. I made this in one take as I needed something, so I said, I'm gonna do some bono, whatever, put something there. And in the end, it was quite groovy and cool. And listening back, I realized, I should have done it again at the end or something, just to kind of double down. But now we're reinventing it. We're playing that a lot because it's so fun to do in unison. Then we get into the So I don't know. It's a cool track in the end, but it kind of came as an accident. This theme.
A lot of the best things do come as accidents.
Yeah, absolutely. Big lesson from Weekly Beats.
Yeah.
If you keep doing enough stuff, some of it will just happen.
Yeah. Always think about, like, sometimes the stew is better when something unknown falls in the pot. Like...
Yeah. Freaky, but I like it. Like a rat's tail.
Yeah, you're like, something about this is just great.
What did you put in it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It might have been that rat's tail.
Where the hell's that rat?
All right, we're going to keep it going with Dreams. Here we go.
As the years go by, I arrive at dreams I've had. hardly recognized soon as I arrive, but not nearly soon enough. Dreams have their own life. Stories never told, disappearing memories, stranded in the cold, scary on your own. Hold on to a stranger's hand, suddenly at home. What do I believe? All the things I can't unlearn, none of it was free. All of it is free. I cannot decide what's right. I believe in dreams. On the cheddar moon, far beyond the hazy clouds, I will see you soon. Cast my little spell, turning sorrow into light. Hope it finds you well. I believe in dreams. I believe in dreams. I believe in dreams. I believe in dreams.
All right, that was Dreams. Another acoustic only, just like heartfelt, great tune.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, this one. I mean, this one took a little bit longer than the others. I remember it was more of a 2 week. I think all of these songwriting ones that I did later in the year, I gave myself more time when it was not there yet, but not too much. I mean, I gave myself another week because I wrote the lyrics. I had some of it, but I felt it could use a little bit. So, shoot me. Didn't do it in 1 week. It's 2 weeks, okay?
Yeah.
But hey, it was also because I wanted to tell this story, this message with it, and this one was born a little bit out of creative limitations. I played with one note, moving on the fretboard to see how what I can do with that, and it was quite a nice find to find these little melodies and stuff. and also with limitation on the lyrics. Every three lines are a haiku format, and I wanted to do it in this way so that you almost can replace any haiku into the song and you can still sing it.
Ah,
But in the end, it just became its own thing. But they still haikus. So um, and yeah, I got I don't know, the sound inspired me for this one, and then it kind of brought back the thoughts and memories and things, the feelings from my life and stuff. So I try to put them in, about getting old, about getting, being in touch with people and with your own mind and stuff. I don't know.
yeah.
But it has a C part now, which is really because I played it live and I discovered that it's cool, but I I take you by the hand to the, and then we go to the moon, But then where do we go from the moon? It felt like it's not really there. So, and I felt like it's got to go somewhere else from here. So then I go. Well, I guess you will hear some other version when I put it out. But I go to another key, and then I also let loose the pipes. I say "Ah, da, da," I sing
Got it.
higher,
Okay.
which is not in the recording, which is a little bit like missed. So if I gave it more time, but I don't think I could have done it in Weekly Beats in another week or
In
whatever.
the in
It
the
needed
time
to be
constraint.
live. It needed to go through the live playing, hearing some, getting a little bit of sense. Okay, and then I discovered the way to end it.
Yeah, what is it about playing it live that kind of pushed you to the realization that like it needs to go somewhere else?
Well, the nice thing about the song is kind of this weird groove that's uh where's the accent? It's like not so common. I guess on the guitar it's a little bit more common, but when you put on the piano, actually, it's again one of those things you play so differently when you trying to capture that same feeling as it sounds on the guitar. So doing that, it's very hypnotic kind of, and very rhythmical also, which is not so common for some of my tracks at the time. So it was a big realization. It started this kickoff thing where I'm really all about the rhythm now. I'm learning a lot. I'm still not really there yet, but I'm learning a lot
Yeah.
about the rhythm, and
The importance of the groove.
yeah, exactly. And this hypnotic thing built up, and wanted to go somewhere higher, and I also wanted to go higher with my voice because I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where I pushed a little bit further with it. But I really enjoyed doing the voices on it and kind of arranging it a little bit, and very proud of the bling on the one note, in the corner. If you see the video of this track, then I film myself doing it. So then there's a little me in the corner. I'm just playing the one note on the piano, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
did watch some of your videos,
oh yeah, man.
and I am also impressed by your video editing and compiling the process of recording these songs, because I kind of want to get into more video stuff, but I have very limited video editing skills. So that sort of intimidates me to add on another process of like video making. Is that something that you want to keep up in the next weekly beats, or is that just like when you feel like it?
Well, thanks for checking it out and for your kind words. For sure, I think it's similar to music stuff. For example, early on, I couldn't really hear my voice. I hear them like I'm cringing, but I got used to it. I also learned a little bit through it to sing better, to use
Yeah.
it in a way that I like. And you have to listen to yourself in order to get better. That's just how it is. So, and I feel the same with video. You have to see yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and I talk about that in the in the freaking
All
song,
right, I'm gonna.
in the
Yeah,
"You
yeah.
Attract" song. But uh, no, but it's somehow, yeah. You gotta start doing it, and then it will get better. It takes a lot of damn time. Sometimes it takes too long, and I really, you should ask yourself, why do you want to do it? What's the point?
Yeah.
Is it a good reason to do videos because you want to do videos, or is the point something else and the videos are a vehicle to get there? Then maybe you can optimize so you don't waste your time doing a lot of stuff. I feel like I'm stuck.
Gotta optimize.
Yeah. Optimize workflow, set deadlines, do what you can. I don't know.
Yeah, this is why I haven't delved into the video thing, because it seems like a lot of damn work.
Yeah, but I mean, it can also be low effort. I mean, somehow if you manage to just film yourself, put it out or whatever, I don't know, it can work. But I like the challenge also because I like to be able to sit down and do performance, and it's just like a never seen before thing that just is good.
Yeah.
If I can do that, I mean, that's the ultimate goal as a musician, and in the end as a person. Because that's what you do all day. You get up, you perform all day, and then you go to sleep again, and then hopefully the performance was good.
Yeah,
even
true.
if you're real or you're faking it or whatever you're doing. So it kind of translates, and music is just a little bit more fun than at work or whatever. But yeah.
All right, we're gonna keep it rolling on with Project 2025.
Oh yeah.
This is the final song from Weekly Beats 2024. And although Project 2025 means something different here in the States, this is a wonderful song.
Oh, thank you. I know all about that shit, man. Don't worry.
All right, here we go.
It's a funky time of year, and I'm here to tell you exactly what will happen. The story of 2025. The true story. First, you'll see a great big light in the sky. Coming up from the east. Yes, that is a star. Billions and billions of tons of gas burning. Next thing you'll see is a wall. A horizontal wall. That's the ceiling. You lay flat. You realize you were unconscious for a while. What's that all about? You bend your body 90 degrees. Now it spells an L for loser. That's you. You quickly leave this posture to form the number 4. Now you're sitting at the side of your bed, looking around confused and aching in your head, like there's been a big explosion of poop all up in there. You rub your eyeballs and you realize they've never been so soft. As you do it, strange shapes start appearing in your world. Nobody else can see them. Those are the shapes formed when you press your eyes too hard. You stop, because this might hurt later. You need your coffee and your tea. You make 2 pots, one black as the night that was just moments ago, one a bit more yellow and perfumey. You pour oat drink from a gray carton into one of the 2. It was a mistake. You poured in the other one too. Now you have 2 gray liquids, and you're sipping one, the other, one, the other, one, and the other. And you cannot taste the difference. You must have poured too much. I'm busy.
Interrupted by my mom. Lunch is ready.
Peace. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I gotta finish this beat, Mom. Sorry. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You gotta go eat. Your relatives are waiting. You get up. You're dizzy. You sit back down. You think, how can I continue on like this for a whole year? There's gotta be a better way than forcing it out of your system. You get back to rubbing your eyes, and then a stray thought enters your mind. Everything becomes a little bit more clear. You remember the other day, everything was different, and yet it was all the same. That's been going on all your life. Every single year was the same. Every year the same. Every day the last. Every morning rough. Every evening bizarre. Like a strange dream that keeps on repeating and repeating, going on in circles. Nobody really knowing what the hell is going on. And then in the morning everything resets. Like that movie with Bill Murray. Bill Murray enters the room. He says, nobody's gonna ever believe you. And then you freak out, you throw him a book. The book you've been reading all these years. It's been on your nightstand. Never left. Because every time you read a page, you forget it the next day. Your mom comes back in the room. Okay, come on, let's go. It's 2 o'clock and 15 minutes past. You try to get up, but you fall down. All your muscles are turned to jelly, and your bones turn into worms. You're wriggling on your floor alone. Bill Murray is gone, and so is your mom. You look around, but your eyes have turned into worms as well. Now you're a big mass of wriggly worms. The wriggly worms from the back of your body are faster than the ones in the front, so the wriggliness as you try to move is just churning into a kind of like a wheel of worms. You reach the door, and the door is so big because you're so small on the floor. You're shrinking. You're turning into there. I'm a tiny particle now, speaking to you from the higher dimension. I'm trying to reach you because this particle state is highly unstable, and you might at any moment combust and turn into subatomic particles, such as a variety of basically it's all exotic stuff that sorry, I'm eating chocolate. Best dose of action is to try to stay put. I'll be back just a moment. Okay, I'm back, but the connection is highly unstable. We're gonna have to cut it. We're gonna have to cut you loose. I repeat, we're gonna have to cut you loose in 5, 4. Thank you for listening. 2, 1. It's been a pleasure.
All right, Project 2025, I would say is your most experimental track for the year. Is that an accurate assessment?
I think it's out of the selection. Maybe is the most experimental, but I have weird stuff that goes beyond this. I think so. I guess it depends. But
I
yeah,
mean,
it is a freaky one for sure.
Yeah, like
And,
tell me, like you go into a little bit of how you built this, but like I really love all of these like wacky sounds that are happening in between things. Like, what was it like to make this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't mention it earlier in the when you asked me about my gear. I talked about the iPad. Talked about the MIDI controller. I also have a synth. That's the one hardware synth I have is the Hydro synth. It's
Ooh, yeah,
digital, but it is
yeah.
a cool. It's a little beast. And so yeah, I play with that. Yeah, basically, I wanted to end the year with a fun,
Like a big finale.
wacky finale, and because I also started it in a pretty high energy, high effort, long track stories and emotions and playing and stuff. So I thought, what can I do with this? I was actually in Romania for the holidays, went back to see my family and stuff. So I did it over there without so much of my gear, but I had, of course, a MIDI controller. So I had my pianos, and I had, I think, Levy the drummer is again
Yeah,
a big
he's
part of
always
it.
available.
He's always available for me, at least. He's a good guy. Responds when I call, and found a wacky bass line. I found this kind of. I just play around. I found a cool groove. I play around on the piano, but it's weird. This bass line. I don't know what is the chord. What is boom? I don't know what it is. It's like I tried to reverse engineer it after, but I just kind of felt it in my hand, so I kind of went with the feeling of it, and then I looped it, So
Yeah,
that's how I did it, and
never to
the
be
sound of it was
recreated.
cool. I can recreate it now. Maybe it's like sort of a D with the major fourth, something like that, like a tritone D. Maybe I'm talking nonsense, but whatever. But the
I'm not
weird
going to be the one
sound,
to call you out on it. So,
but that's what it's all about, I
yeah,
weird sound. Then I had the electric piano. I put some weird chord, ding, ding, and then start telling the story. I don't know, feelings. What do you? I'm taking you on a journey. I don't know how to explain what I do, but this is after at least a year of doing it
yeah.
a lot. So now I'm really digging into the vibe of it. I still don't think I can do it live so well as in a recording because I still cut parts of it. But
I was gonna ask,
yeah.
because like the next one we're gonna listen to is the first one from the year,
Oh yeah.
and I was sort of asking myself as I listened to that, like, this can't be all in one take.
No, don't
'Cause,
worry.
like,
There's a
it's-
lot of nonsense in there.
The spoken word is like so good.
Thank you very much. Well, the spoken word is the easiest part, but still, it required a couple of takes at least. For sure, the piano solo and stuff took a lot of takes. But yeah, back to just to finish with the Project 2025 one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also thought I want to make something that can be fun a little bit after, a little bit throughout 2025, right? I still didn't put it out anywhere else than Weekly Beats because I don't know, I felt a bit weird. I should have just done it the 1st of January, but I waited. Now it's a bit late for it. I don't know, maybe I put it out.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in 2025.
It's still 2025 and it's only getting worse. But look,
I prefer this project 2025 over others. I'm just
I
gonna
have a
say
feeling
that.
many
Yeah.
people will, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a sketchy one to navigate. It's I need that escapism, man.
Yeah, lock me in my room.
But I mean, the vibe of it being so weird and wacky is also quite planned. I mean, I want it to be just so, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
want it to strike that balance of wackiness and it's jank, and it can also be bad. So if I do a take and it's very improvised and weird sounding and stuff, I guess it's that edge of between trash and genius. It can be very good, but it can also be trash, and I just think it's good. So I have to be very careful with it. Not to say any of my stuff is genius or anything, but it can be very good out of random chance. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I do it. Usually, first takes are the most thick with emotion and the feel,
Raw
and
and
you have
real.
all the good parts except the technique, and then later on the technique gets better but the feel gets worse.
Ooh, that's
So
really good. Yeah.
as soon as you can do it early, do it as best you can, because the feeling will be there. The more you do it, you're gonna lose. If I have to perform the story of Project 2025 again, it's gonna be weird because maybe I'm gonna try to replicate a bit those jokes, or I don't know if you can call
Yeah.
it jokes, but those kind of
The delivery.
things. So best is to just do a new thing to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those spoken word ones are not really something I can do again. I guess unless it's written and unless it's really more of a poetic thing
Yeah.
or a text, which I guess this next one is more of a text. That one precedes the song by a couple of years. I wrote it first, and
Oh, okay.
then it
Okay.
sat there, and then I was browsing. What could I do? Okay. What if I perform this one and find a cool way to do it?
All right. Well, let's listen to that one.
Yeah.
Here we go. You attract what you put out in the world.
I was afraid to hear my thoughts in complete silence. Out of the excuse of boredom, I filled my head with enough noise until it could not quiet down fast enough before I fell asleep. When the late morning dreams started fading away, making room for my waking mind, I would rush to fill it with noise because its silence was fearsome, unknown, and I thought could consume me. Yet I would talk about freedom and happiness and introspection for years. Talking to people is a great way to reduce the noise just a little bit, so it felt good. But the noise grew and consumed my silent self instead, unnoticed. I came up with a clever realization that maybe instead of truly understanding one another, people are just really good at saying what they think other people like to hear, or rather getting a response that they want. Or maybe that's just me. I had to make a change. It was a long time coming, but I didn't know how or where or what. I cut off the noise and sought the silence. I started abruptly, replaced the noise that was otherwise the first thing in the morning with a walk outside, finding a spot in the grass or by the lake and sitting in the quiet. Is this that thing they call meditation? I thought, to hell with it. If it consumes me, let it consume me, and banished every thought that came to mind. All the noise, I asked to please quiet down. I was afraid I'd become so empty that my darkest thoughts would be unbearable, and I would go insane, or that I'd be truly empty and simply forget myself and never recover from my trance. I figured someone will find me and put me on the machine, so I kept on emptying my mind. The first thing I noticed was that no dark evil was lurking inside me, unsurprisingly, as I'm just some guy. I found I'm not quite so empty. The noise runs deep and it bubbles, but there is power in stillness. All things tend to reach a balance. Delta S equals 0, as they say in physics, and so tend I. Perhaps the noise I was eating so hungrily was my reaction to something, trying to reach a balance with my then world. But without the noise, I feel free. The noise may be a feedback loop that feeds itself to a point of destruction. Like any addiction, a tried and true way out is going cold turkey.
still afraid I'll become somehow less without my noise. I am aware now what it does to me and how hungry it is, like I'm the one it feeds on. Anyway, fuck that, it'll die without my attention. Good riddance. Now to cultivating love. First thing to note is I'm already under the personal impression that I love myself, at least in theory. I can hear myself, I can be by myself, I can somewhat see myself. Though I'm working on that until I'm 100%. But generally I love myself and trust myself. I am the people I love, they are why I go on. I'm not sure what I do for them. Honestly, I'm scared they don't think the same, that I'm them and they're me. It could be a one-way street. Most of the time I'm okay with that. I drown it in noise. But now without noise, I must question it, I must approach it. I'm kind of afraid. Am I a good friend? I ask them in my head. I love you, I tell them silently for myself. I smile. That comes through, usually has the good effect. Am I doing it genuinely or because I'm a well-trained monkey? Sitting in my silence lets me try a new thing, saying and thinking things I like to hear, tricking myself into acceptance, peace, love. What is real understanding? How much more can I do than think the right things, say the right things, provoke the good reactions, be the perfect robot? Am I on a quest to automate myself in that way? Can I truly, truly, truly trust myself to know the difference? You attract what you put out into the world. You can change as a person if you want to, but it can't be overnight. You can plant ideas and let them live in your head until they push the old ones out, or die from lack of nutrition. You can expose the ideas in your mind to a healthy kind of fertilizer, or just shit, and they'll grow by whatever you feed them. You can become a totally different person, intentionally or without realizing. Once those ideas grow, they will get out like invasive spores infecting everyone around. The journey to knowing yourself is dangerous because you don't know what you'll find. You attract what you put out in the world. You attract what you put out in the world. Yeah, you do. Oh, it's really good. Put out good stuff out in the world. All comes back to you. 'Cause you attract what you put out in the world. Get them harmonica to jam it up there.
All right, that was You Attract What You Put Out in the World.
Oh
A
man,
great spoken word, and I mean, impressive for the first song of 2024.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you
The
really
fact
came out the
is so
gate
much.
hot.
Yeah, yeah. I burst through the gates with my head. But yeah, the I think that version, because I couldn't hear just now in the recording of the podcast, but that version suffered a little bit of changes before it got on the album. So at the end, I have a bit of these janky horns. No, I think it's there.
Yes, I made a note. They're not janky though. They are
Ah,
fucking great.
thanks. I
No,
felt janky with it. Whatever. I don't know. They're cool. There should be horns there. If I had some nice horn players, I would definitely get them to play some horns for me
yeah, I
on
put
this
the
track. But
horns at the end are a chef's kiss.
oh man,
Like,
I'm happy I put them in. But in the end, I replaced it with some organ because in the album I didn't want it to be this kind of fake ass horns stuff
they
from
didn't
Logic.
sound fake to me.
Yeah. Well, you're just too nice. You're too nice. I don't know. I had a lot of. I mean, I don't know. Solo process, do it all myself, and figure out what I like about it.
Yeah.
Then it can be a little bit tough to really decide what's the right way. But I mean, I'm happy with the final one. Also, I'm happy with the weekly beats on. Also, more or less as it is. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Um, my harmonica part is still fun. So at least there's that.
You kept that.
Yeah, yeah. But one thing about it, I guess, is the first track in the year. And actually, that's valid for most of the tracks in the year. I was not singing with my full pipes for most of the year. And now I really, playing live has really taught me that you got to do it.
Is that like a confidence thing or
Yeah, it's a little bit a matter of you're recording in your home and there's the neighbors and stuff. You're overthinking it and maybe it's late at
yeah.
night. But also confidence thing of and not inexperience, not knowing how it really changes it. So if I sing "You attract what you put," it's different than "You attract" is like with my
Yeah, your little
front
voice.
of the mouth voice. So if I were to do it again, there's always that feeling. If I could go back in time, knowing what I know now, for sure I put more diaphragm, more power in singing. And I think maybe that also goes for all the different instrumental parts. It's nice to use your body to really go for it. Use
Yeah.
dynamics. Do it very soft and gentle when it's needed, and go full blast when it's needed. And because that's when the emotion comes out.
Mhm.
That's when you hear all the harmonics and all the things in it. So, but now I'm
And
just criticizing my own stuff. That's kind of how I feel about it.
well, I mean, I really love the lyrics to this too cuz it's kind of about I guess our current world of just like constantly being distracted and then learning how to meditate and sit with yourself and like being worried what will happen if you let that happen. It
True,
like
true.
a very like personal or personally identifiable situation and lyrics. Like I don't know.
I
Uh,
mean, I'm happy it resonates. For sure, it's real to me. So,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I try to convey it to also to get it out of my system, and share it. And a lot of this kind of personal vulnerability sharing thing, I think it's nice when other people do it, when other artists do it. I really appreciate it and enjoy it, and feel for them when they share vulnerable stuff
yeah.
on stage and in the recordings and stuff. I'm also kind of I also want to do it too, and to the degree that I can, and that
Yeah.
it's comfortable, and how. But I mean, when it comes to some stuff that impacts a little bit other people and so on, then you have to really be extra careful how you share it,
Hmm.
and you want it to be with with respect to everybody involved and stuff. So if it's like you want to share some weird relationship things that
Yeah.
happen to you, yeah, it's
I mean,
do it
you're
as you can.
really
For
you're
me, this was
being
easy because I don't know. It's all
you're being
about myself.
vulnerable on like multiple different levels. Like there's the
Yeah,
live playing, which is like one vulnerable thing. There's the lyrics that are very personal and like telling your experience that other people can identify with. And then what feels most vulnerable to me is like the singing aspect. Like that still sort of terrifies me of like getting up in front of a live audience and singing.
yeah,
I can't even do it in my basement by myself. So
yeah. But I mean, that's the place to start, right? But once you get on stage, it's yet another start because you just that's how you find out how it really is by doing it.
yeah,
However
yeah.
much you prepare for years in your karate temple, whatever, with the dojo or whatever, it's not gonna prepare you for what it's really about.
True.
And it's much easier than it seems at first, right? Just like jumping in cold water. You
Yeah.
think about it a lot and it's scary, but once you do it, it's like, oh, that actually feels nice. So, kind of funny way, but it can still be a weird feeling when you're just about to go up. And you know what matters? If you're more prepared, it's even easier. If you're not
Yeah.
super prepared, then you're maybe not sure how well you can play your thing. It can be extra stressful, and I've definitely been there, and it's not so nice.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
for the sake of my audience and also myself and stuff, it's nice to come prepared. But if I'm prepared and stuff now, but definitely it's been trial by fire. I mean, you just do it
Something's
enough.
happening with your mic, by the way.
Oh no, what's happening?
Oh, it was like crackling when you were like leaning back, but I think it's better now.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's
Where
good.
where did you lose me on? Yeah, when you get on stage,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
gets easier. You just keep doing it.
Yeah. I
That's what it's all
mean,
about.
it's like everything. You got to jump in and try it and learn what you did wrong and what you want to improve.
Yeah, and I mean this thing about listening to yourself and you're cringing like, oh, it's so bad. If you have the ability to do it completely alone in your basement and whatever in your recording studio in your room in your just go out. That's when I actually did it first time around 2019, maybe 2018. I went out. We had this bike path along the water far away around the park, and there's nobody there. So I took my bike. I went there. I took my laptop, all my gear, all my microphone. I set it up in this weird little cabin they had there, completely abandoned. And even there, I had a hard time doing it because, like, what
Yeah.
if somebody walks in?
Uh huh.
And it's such a dumb thing. So what? Somebody walks into the bike path and listens to, and you're never gonna meet this person again. And
It's
you're just
true.
doing your stupid singing,
I
whatever.
would feel the same
But
way.
it's it's hard to do it. But okay, the answer was do it madly, do it so out of whack that there's no question what you're doing. You know, just
Yeah.
go full blast, and then you also test out the limits. And then when you come a little bit down from this full whack, then you come to the socially acceptable level, but it's still very intense, and and playing learning a little bit about your own limits and everything. I think that's the way to also do it. Same goes for the playing and stuff. I mean, think about early on if you're playing an instrument or whatever. Do you play an instrument actually? By the way, I'm not so.
Yeah. I play guitar. I can noodle around on the piano. Like I know what the notes are, but they don't really connect the same to me as a guitar
Yeah, yeah,
because I learned guitar for a while, then I put it down for a while. Now I'm trying to get back into it.
mm.
But kind of back to the performance aspect,
Yeah,
I've
but
been listening to songs just on the radio and thinking about like what if I was writing these lyrics and singing this song? And I was like, a lot of this shit is weird.
yeah,
And like, I would maybe be like, I don't know if I would say that, or like maybe I would change this word. But I was like, I've never questioned it on these songs before. And really what it comes down to is it's delivered with so much confidence that you don't question what's happening. So
Yeah, and it sounds good. I
yeah,
mean,
it
at the end of the
sounds
day,
good. It
it's
sounds
gotta
good and
sound.
it's confident in a way that you're like, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating, right? It's like it's a very human thing. It's very cognitive dissonance. It can be
Yeah.
some crap lyrics and they sound good, and then it hooks into your head, and then you hear that for days.
Yeah,
uh,
it's so wild. But I mean, I would like to get to a point where I'm doing some sort of live performance, even if it's just like combining different loops and, maybe playing guitar over top, something like that. And that's kind of why I got a Digitone 2 as a little bit more of, there's more buttons to mash and there's more knobs to twist and that sort of thing. That's the idea
yeah,
anyway.
and you can kind of craft beats live on it, right? You can
Yeah.
trigger stuff and
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I've tried stuff like that on the iPad. I don't have, or like also on the M8 Mate. I guess it's doable, but you have to prepare a lot in most of
Yeah.
those tools
I
compared to a drum
love
set
the
where you sit down and you. I
Yeah,
can't play the drums, but
me either.
the idea is it's live, so you can on the on the blink of an eye you can switch from the softest thing you ever heard to like a blam.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you want that high dynamic range, and I learned that in my
Yeah.
improvising music camp where I went. We were studying
All right.
improvised music. I went 3 years. I'm pointing at my wall because I have posters of it.
Oh,
um,
sweet.
so I learned there how important, because you're watching these people who really know what they're doing. And for example, on a saxophone, sitting
Yeah.
there
Real tiny.
and then it's going into most horrible, infectious, evil sound you ever heard, and then it's back to the. So that's kind of crazy dynamics.
Yeah.
You want that to be able to communicate those kind of things. And I mean, any emotion, you're trying to convey emotions. I mean,
Yeah.
that's intense, man. How
Yeah.
intense can you get? That's what it's about. Or if
Very
it's
cool.
not intense, it's about tension, intense, tension.
Yeah. And
How do you achieve that? It's like playing with all these. You expect a crazy loud or powerful thing to come, and it never comes. Or
yeah, the unexpected.
playing with your expectations. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very cool.
Repeating things enough where people expect it to repeat and then it doesn't. And
Yeah. Playing with the
Yeah.
spaces or with the gaps, with what you're not playing. That's a lot of the things that are happening in music when there's just silence.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave too much of a silence, but nice.
I let
You
it
picked
sit
up
there
on
for
it
a minute.
immediately.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're in lockstep.
Cool.
Well, we are at our final song that we will play out the episode. And this is going to be Christmas in Summer.
Oh yeah.
Almost
But it's
Christmas
not
in
really
July.
a Christmas song, right? It's like it
It's
is
not
a
really a
Christmas
Christmas
song, but
song.
it's not really a Christmas song. But
Yeah.
I'll
It's
play
got
that
the word
Christmas
Christmas in
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell me about how this one came together.
Yeah, this one I was playing live already at this open mic for quite a while. It happens every Sunday, so it was kind of in lockstep with Weekly Beats, and I think I uploaded also on Weekly Beats that week. I think I wrote it in there, but if I talk nonsense, whatever, go read it and fix it. But I think I made it that day. I kind of came up with the melody, the thing, and I wrote the lyrics pretty fast, like kind of got inspired. Went to play it at the open mic before I really played it even one time at home because I was really running out of time, and you have to be there at 7 to sign up, whatever. So I was there. I played it, The B part I kind of figure out live how it should go, and you can only do that, I guess, if you just always do this kind of stuff, and it gets
Yeah,
easier. And so
I
I was
wouldn't trust
comfortable with
myself.
that, but it was, let's face it, it was a little bit jank. I put the recording up also on YouTube of that live one, and then I came back home before the deadline of Weekly Beats, and then I recorded it again. And that version, like I said before with the first takes, I mean, it has all the emotion. It has good playing because the song affords it. It's pretty slow ballad, so I can handle the rhythmic aspect. It has a pretty strong melody and that kind of sus4 major 7 voicing thing that I use in the cling. So it's kind of a nice little hook, you could say, that chord
Yeah.
thing, and it came together pretty easily. I mean, when it's only piano and voice, you can just do a take, and
Well, you started out in the first live one with like some kind of like experimental
yeah,
jazz piano, so it was like hard to tell
yeah,
where it was
because it's
going at first.
exactly, it's just in space, right? I'm in space. So what does that sound like? Space. You probably need a S filter for my speech pattern, but my space intro is like
Turn
I'm
on the
using
de-esser.
the esser. I'm using the major seventh. I'm like playing with that to create this weird thing. Then I come into a normal song, normal,
Yeah.
and then that kind of takes people by surprise. I mean, at this open mic, most people more or less come with the classic guitar chords that
Yeah, yeah.
and then they have nice songs and everything around that. So, but it's very little weird jazz stuff. So it was also made with that in mind because I knew I was gonna go play it there.
You're like, they need a little weird jazz stuff in their life.
Yeah, let me bring them something from the other side. And they really liked it. One of the guys there, who's the host, Dave. Hi, Dave, if you're listening. He's a big fan of the song. He's very supportive and stuff. So I'm really really happy for his.
Cool.
I love playing for him and people like that. They just respond instantly. You can see like yeah they're into it. So
That's
it
cool.
it was a lot of that too with this song, and
Sweet.
I just got better at writing songs after thinking so much structure and everything, and as opposed to the weird improvisational stuff. But it all informs each other because, of course,
Mm-hmm.
there's weird improvisational stuff in the song, so it couldn't work without that either. Somehow, I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It
there it is.
encompasses your entire experience.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm always looking to the next thing now because now I'm like, yeah, I could do that, but better.
Yeah.
So now I'm always looking forward to. I kind of want to get this album that I'm recording now. I want to get it done. I don't really want to do this perfect version of it, but I kind of set myself up in a weird way to. Oh, it has to be so good, but because I already have ideas for what I want to do next. But now I kind of said that I'm
You're
gonna
like, I
do
got
it,
to
so
get it
I
out
have
of the
to do it.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
do it like that. But
Cool.
but yeah, Weekly Beats, man, it's an amazing thing that we've
Oh, it is.
stumbled
It
across,
is.
huh? So
Yeah.
let's keep it
Yeah.
alive. And thank
Well,
you for keeping it alive with
if
this
you
one.
need extra encouragement to finish that album, I'm sure some people will reach out to you and help encourage you.
Oh, oh, thank you.
I'm I'm excited to hear what you create in 2025 and the rest of 20 or yeah, in 2025 and for the next weekly beats. And thanks so much for spending the time and chatting about your music.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thanks for listening, everybody. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening.
thank you, thank you.
All right,
Look forward to
we're
the
gonna
next
play
episode.
it on out with "I Won't Be Home for Christmas." Have a good one, everyone.
I won't be home for Christmas. It's just not possible this year. I'm already traveling at 10% of light speed, and I'm already aging much slower from your point of view. By the time I would return, I'd be your junior by about 10 years. 10 Christmases apart, it would add up to a lot of presents. I won't be home for Christmas. Don't think I'll ever come again. The place I'm going doesn't have a yearly cycle. It's just a perpetual twilight. On the bridge I have a picture. It's all of us in front of the tree. I won't touch another for the rest of my life. All I have is moss and algae. I won't be home for Christmas, not in my old physical form. You know me as a human being, but I will be so much more. It's a strange world, strange without the math. Try to let go of the things you never had. Accept that we're going at relativistic speeds. We're incompatible in the most fundamental ways. I won't be home for Christmas. It's not the same thing anymore. I'm already traveling at 10% of light speed. I've already spent my best years back home. Look for me in the stars.